The US stormed into Venezuela, captured its president, and flew him back to the US to face charges because he sent drugs to the US and poisoned Americans. Really? Well, we all know that's not the case. There are only two objectives for such a military act. Hi, Leslie Koo here. So what are the two objectives? Number one, oil. This we all know. Number two, to send a message to the Central and particularly South American countries, telling them that I'm still the boss. All of you are in my backyard. Now, what is the impact on China, especially on the Belt and Road Initiative related projects and investments? South America. China has invested lots of money, especially on the infrastructures. After what US has done to Venezuela, I reckon most, or if not all, most of these South American countries will likely move away from China because the US doesn't like it and returns to the arms of the US. They don't have any choice. After Venezuela president is captured, so far, no concrete actions from the rest of the world helping Venezuela to get its leader back. It's only words of condemn, words of condemn, words of condemn. Just words. Talking is easy. But what Venezuela needs now is concrete actions. But none is coming. So far, none is coming. The other South American countries see that. That scares them. If I don't return to the US or side towards US, I may be the next. So they have no other options to choose. Returning to the US is the only options for the time being. And what's the impact on China's related project? It's likely to face a lot of obstacles now. Okay? The probability is very high. Either postpone or cancel, so on and so forth. For example, the railway connecting Brazil, a Brazilian port, on one side, all the way to a port of Peru on the other side. The objective of this railway is to provide China an alternate options to the Panama Canal. For sure, the US will pressure this country to, you guys, Brazil, Peru, you guys better stop this project. No. US is in control of Panama, so you are not going to create another options for China. This is likely to be the way. So, and other related projects will hit roadblock as well. This will create a gap in the Belt and Road Initiative. But there's nothing China can do unless these South American countries is able to go against the US with concrete support from the rest of the world. Like, if US were to pull a similar stunt on us, the rest of the world will help with concrete actions. If there's no concrete actions, no way they will go against the US. And I will put the US military risk, high risk, 75 to 100% risk. If we use Venezuela as 100% as the benchmark, at least for the Trump administrations. Of course, we will not know what will happen when the next president comes. We only know in 2029. I mean, China has not been investing just on South America. What about Africa? Well, we see that at the moment, the US is cleaning its backyard. So let's focus on Africa. At this moment, is not under the US radar. But the thing is that Africa is a continent, African countries also are resource rich. Unlikely that Africa will be out of the US radar forever. Just that at this moment, the US focus is on the Central America, South America. When it is done, it's hard to say that it will not shift its focus to Africa. But at the moment, no, it's not. No, Africa will be left on its own. So, African countries should take this opportunity with the US busy cleaning up its backyard, continue to work with China in terms of infrastructure investment, economic development, so on and so forth. Yet, and I would think that it would be better if they can speed up the pace in terms of the infrastructures, finishing all the roads, the highways, and ports, airports, also 5G network, so on and so forth. Hopefully by then, Africans, with them having jobs, with them having no worries whether the next meal will come, with them having houses to live in, they have enough love for the countries to give foreign troops a hard time if whosoever try to pull a stunt like what the US did in Venezuela. So in terms of risk, I would think that compared to South America, Africa countries is facing a lesser risk. So for my scale, I would place Africa in the 50 to 75%. Because I would think that Africa being resource rich, if need be, the US might allocate some of the efforts to put Africa back into the radar. So the risk for Africa is 50 to 75%. Asia, I would say, has maybe close to no risk. The probability of the US pulling a similar stunt in an Asian country like what it did to Venezuela, very unlikely. China is this region. Unlikely that the US will want to do something like this and heads on against China. Well, it will still use like Japan or South Korea, Philippines, but that's about all. The impact on China will be like minor scratches each. No worries. China will not have to worry about that. And that is to say, the impact on China-related investments and projects will continue. There may be hiccups here and there, but no major interruptions. On the whole, there are only two objectives of the US military act on Venezuela, the oil, and message to the Central and South American countries, letting them know who's the boss. From the China perspective, the impact on Belt and Road initiatives will be the biggest, will hurt the most in South America. Africa is in the middle, and of course, Asia, no worries. Okay, that's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.